Shaw Reed, Michael Herman, myself, your chair Kevin Galligan, Meph Runyon, also town manager Kim Newman, and Laura St. John Dupuy. Welcome everyone to the meeting. We're called to order. Michael, would you be so kind just to read the preamble?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We acknowledge with respect we are inhabiting the traditional lands of the Wampanoag peoples who have always existed here. We value their roles as past, present, and future guardians of this land.
Thank you, Michael. And we have announcements listed, those that may be something the select board or staff might wish to announce. And Kim, I'll start with you. I know you've got a couple.
Sure. Many of you may be aware that the regionalization and efficiency study that the towns of Brewster, Wellfleet, Eastham, and Orleans went out for a grant. We got a grant for a couple of years ago. The report from that is about to be released to the public in a couple of weeks. And so there are going to be public information sessions about those releases. The dates for the Orleans one, you can go to anyone that you want in any town, but Orleans is scheduled for June 2nd at 6 p.m. right here. The document itself is not available yet. It's not finalized. We will have that, we anticipate, right around Memorial Day, and it will be in the select board's packet before that meeting. So if you want a copy of it, you can look for that or ask us in that last week of May.
And one other that was bid-related on Phase 3 sewers, Kim, you may want to mention about Article 26, or Mark?
Mark's going to do it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, here, surprise.
Great. So as some may know, yesterday we opened bids for the Phase 3 sewer construction. The bids came in favorable, and so we do not need to vote on Article 26 of the town meeting warrant, and so you can anticipate that that article will be indefinitely postponed. So that's positive news.
Great, thank you. Competitive market is hard at work out there. We love it. Any other announcements? Michael, you
Yes,
might
I have one. Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to let everybody know, Beyond Pesticides, which is a national organization, been around since 1981, and I was contacted by them when we first did our pesticide home rule petition, and I think everybody remembers that, which is still a bill at the State House. They came back to us and wanted to, now that we have 4 towns in our district that have all voted the Orleans home rule petition, they were amazed by that, and they've come back and sent out an action alert to the state of Massachusetts, to the whole state, different organizations, different town governments, and they're starting to get feedback from them of other towns or organizations that may be interested in doing it. So I thought that was exciting. I don't know if everybody also saw Eastham and Harwich both had their town meetings on Monday night, and both of them passed our Orleans home rule petition for fertilizer. So now fertilizer we have in 5 different towns in Cape Cod have passed our home rule petition, which is exciting. And we have it on the slate at other towns later in the season.
Great, thank you, Michael. Any other announcements? Okay, on to public comment. Anyone here for public comment? Please, Scott, come on up. Scott's deferring to Gail. Gail, welcome.
Yes. Gail Breer, 43 Pond Road, current vice chair of the Orleans School Committee and former chair. I want to personally thank the town staff involved in pursuing all abutters to the fire rescue station site. With the real estate transaction that took place at our last town meeting and the land acquisition being proposed in the upcoming town meeting, the path forward addresses the needs of enhanced visibility and emergency response time for the fire rescue station and removes concerns expressed by the school committee and OES parents regarding any potential negative impact on the elementary school site. Thank you for your efforts and negotiations in creating this win-win scenario.
Thank you very much, Gail. Scott, please.
Thank you. Scott Zanke, Doan Road. Congratulations on the sewer. That's a huge hit. Coming to you as a taxpayer looking at the fire department and that build as far as coming Monday to vote. I see on the agenda, we're even talking about other allocations of funds later on in this agenda, so things are still very much up in the air, looking at it from the outside. I think the taxpayer needs to have some sort of insurance when we land on a number, not to exceed. We're really pushing the gamut here, I think, as far as asking at least a year out before construction with the way the world is, and nobody knows what a barrel of oil is going to be next week, let alone 10 months from now. That's going to drive this whole build. So again, we need a not to exceed so people know that we're not coming back in 16 months after the build starts to say, hey, we're 90% done, but we're a little short. So far, we've got $4.5 million roughly in land acquisition and leftover solar bond money. That should be noted somewhere in the overall cost of this project. Monday, again, we need to stay on track to the question. We're not looking at options, we're not looking at design, we're not looking at anything but a number. And I think if we start to sway away from that, we could be there for days. We're 6 weeks away from basically the final estimated cost according to Ted in last Monday's meeting. And that's on option 1 and 2, which was the net zero and then the gable roof. Question is $58 million on the gable roof. That was not in question until it became an option. So if the 54 net zero worked, I would guess that the $58 million gable roof is not to be questioned either. And basically, this is going to be a big gamble for funding, I think. We're a year prior to construction and 10 months before bidding. So I hope things go well, and I hope we get approved. We got to get this thing behind us and get it moving. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Anyone else for public comment, please? Judy Lindahl, please.
No, he's confusing the consultant costs.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
We have a big event coming into the Village Green on Saturday. It's our second Cherry Blossom Festival. We have 2 great bands. We have over 32 vendors coming in. It has become quite the application to get in for, we turned away 14 vendors this year. So our list is getting longer and longer as we're doing this. It'll be our 3rd year for Outermost. It's our 2nd year for Cherry Blossom, so we're really looking forward to it. If you could do something about the wind and the weather, that would be lovely, because our banner went flying this morning, and our yard signs are still in place. I do go around and do that. But it's been a busy year already for the Chamber of Commerce. We have a lot of ribbon cuttings going on. We'd love the support of anyone at Town Hall to come to the ribbon cuttings. We have one tomorrow for a new business, Cape Cod Nail, which is it's in Jeremiah Square, directly across from Nauset Surf. Sarah Mason is very successful entrepreneur coming out of Mashpee. So this will be her 2nd location on Cape Cod. So we're very happy to have her in Orleans. And last week we celebrated the new owners of Oceana. Beyond that, Truly Orleans will be delivered in about 2 weeks, and we're very excited for it. It's a piece this year about why we live here, what makes Orleans special, and to let visitors know why they want to live in Orleans. Why do we live and work in Orleans, and share that? So that'll be out in 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say about it and moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Exciting. Any other public comment, please? Go ahead. Mary Wright, welcome.
Thank you. Mary Wright, 83 Main Street. This is a little bit of self-promotion, but I will do it anyway. The Orleans Citizens Forum will be having a forum tomorrow night to meet the candidates for the Select Board and the Board of Ed, or Board of School Board for the elementary school, 5 to 7 p.m. at Lower Cape TV. We will be discussing both what those of us who are running for office see as our priorities for the coming term. But also, we will be having a discussion, I think, around why are there no contested races? Because we would like to do some more work on getting a little more interest in folks running for these positions. So I hope anybody who would like to would be able to join us. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? Peter, please.
Good afternoon, Peter Jensen, Monument Road. I'm here to announce the arrival of the plants on the hill. They're going to be planted on Saturday afternoon after I go to the Cherry Blossom Festival in the morning from 1 to 4, 1 to 5. Those who want to brace for the wind and the weather, we're going to put 36 bearberry, 4 inkberry, 2 winterberry, and various and sundry grasses and flowers, and the beach plum will come later. So it's all going to go on the ground. So happy to say that the ocean-friendly garden will be established below a Cape-friendly lawn. The next phase will be to establish a Cape-friendly lawn without fertilizers nor pesticides, Michael, all using native grasses, taking advantage of soil health to hold the water, to grow the grass. Grass is important, by the way. Lawns are not a bad thing. Lawns are a good thing because they prevent erosion. They do not stop runoff. That's the problem. A lawn will have runoff, but that's why you put an ocean-friendly garden below a lawn that holds the runoff before it gets to the road. So, happy to announce this Saturday, 1 to 5. Not part of the Cherry Blossom Festival, but not competing either.
Welcome addition.
A welcome addition. Thank you, Judy. Anyway, pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you
Peter.
very much.
Many things going on. Here, here. All right. Any other public comment? Please. John Cooper.
John Cooper, 39 Old Duck Hole Road, East Orleans. I'm speaking briefly to agenda items 11 and 12, the town meeting Article 17. If the town can tonight take action to lower the debt limit, which is tricky, it will benefit, I think. It will be an important action for the future financial performance of the town. And there I'm referring to a recent report that you're familiar with, December 16th, 2025, from our bond rating agency that does compare our town and our debt burden to all the other towns. Briefly, I'm just reading about the credit highlights as it applies to future debt. Here I'm quoting, Orleans per capita debt liabilities far exceed those of both state and national peers, even when accounting for the town's increased summertime population. Furthermore, the town's debt service as a percentage of revenues stands at 11.7%, significantly exceeding the AAA median of 4.27%. These factors, combined with the recent removal of the debt to expenditures cap from the town's debt policy, weigh on our view of Orleans. So as you know, they're referring to the debt to expenditure cap that most towns with AAA rating have set at 10%, and Orleans does not have a cap. Going to their conclusion, they have, as you might expect from this crowd, a downside scenario. We could lower the rating if debt levels increase materially beyond our current expectations, such that higher debt service costs pressure financial results. Which brings us to, what is the scenario with $60 million in new debt, coupled with debt for ongoing sewer projects? So as you know, very carefully, the town treasurer and the finance director presented to the finance committee that when $60 million in new debt hits the town budget, that metric we just described will be approaching 20%. That's a milestone rarely reached by a town having a AAA rating. That's a projection. But the other thing to take into account with projection is that this is a year of very tight budgets, which the Finance Committee saw, which you saw. In an era of stagnant revenue growth, paying escalating debt service from 11 to 20% has to come from somewhere, meaning other budgets across the town. So I realize this is a very fiscally conservative viewpoint on debt, talking about a tricky number and the fact that we must have a new fire rescue station. But in conclusion, I think if that $60 million could be lowered now, it would be favorable action for maintaining a AAA bond rating and providing some future budget flexibility across the town. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else in the room for public comment? Not seeing any. Peggy, anyone on Zoom wish to come in during public comment?
No hands raised?
Okay, I'll close public comment. And we are at 5:15. Kim, if you don't mind, I'm going to skip over number 5 just for a moment.
Absolutely.
And we'll get our 5:15 public hearing. I'll read the notice. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 of the Mass General Law that an application has been made to the Orleans Select Board, acting as a local licensing authority by Chibo and Nautica LLC, doing business as Chibo. Michelle R. Galvin, manager. The applicant seeks an annual on-premises restaurant all alcoholic beverages license for the premises located at 15 Cove Road, Orleans. Description of the premise is a 2-level building consisting of approximately 5,866 square feet, featuring an outdoor deck, 3 entrances, 5 exits, 1 designated for public use. Total seating capacity is 50 persons. The Select Board's holding a public hearing here on Wednesday, May 6, 2026 at 5:15 p.m. in the Nauset Room. All interested parties will be heard. So, hearing's open for the public, and is Michelle here, or you want to come up and say hi? And hopefully I read the Chibo
Chibo Enoteca.
and Nautica. Thank you. So just say a few words, what you're planning, and we,
My son Nathan, he's my
hey, Nathan,
partner,
Everyone.
yeah, have a seat, and
to tell you our plans.
great.
All right, so, good afternoon, evening, same difference. So we really plan on, I guess you're all familiar with Chibo, of course, you probably all went there.
Delicious food.
Delicious food, yes, thank you. Well, not yet, but you know. We really plan on continuing what Nick and Antonella did. We are gonna add a little bit to it, maybe a breakfast service and a dinner service as well.
Nice.
Fine wine pairing, but we're gonna keep it authentic Italian as much as you can. Absolutely. We're here to offer an idea for a liquor license. We'd like to run cocktails and obviously the wine as well that we can do with the Italian food pairing. But everything's pretty much gonna stay the same as what it was. Everybody's very receptive. They love the place, so we thought, why not? We're very excited about it. Yeah.
Any questions of the applicants from the board?
No questions other than congratulations. Look forward to tasting.
Yeah, look forward to.
We're hoping for around Memorial Day, probably a little after Memorial Day.
Most likely a little after.
Doing renovations and
Nice.
Wonderful.
Since there's a public hearing, anyone from the public wish to comment? Got to get a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing's closed. Would someone like to make a motion?
Sure. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the new annual on-premise Section 12 all alcohol beverages restaurant license for Chibo Enoteca LLC, doing business as Cibo, located at 15 Cove Road.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Wonderful.
License is approved.
so much.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Well, stay where you are, because we have to do the second.
Yeah, we do have a second one. Thank you, Andrea. So, next item is,
There, right where you are. Dinner service.
Yeah, yeah.
You're needing the
So
food.
we have a common victual license for Chibo Inateca LLC, doing business as Chibo. In our packet is a memo from Laura St. John Dupuy indicating what's proposed. It includes hours of operation are Sunday to Saturday, 8:30 to 2, serving pastry and lunch, and Sunday to Saturday, 4:30 to 9:30, serving dinner.
Mr. Chair.
Please.
No, after you.
Go ahead. You-
That's going to get old real fast. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a new annual, I thought you wanted to say that particular word.
Vittler?
Yeah, thank you. License for Chibo Anoteca LLC, doing business as Cibo, located at 15 Cove Road in Orleans, Massachusetts. Said license to expire on December 31st, 2026, unless sooner revoked by the board.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Now you're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Look forward to seeing you in the
See you all
shop.
at the restaurant.
Absolutely.
Will.
All right, so Kim, we have a few minutes. If it's okay with you, we'll go back to item 5. Awesome. So,
It's myself and Amanda.
awesome.
You'll be so,
So
hopefully,
as Kim and Amanda are getting plugged in, the topic is to hear from a
hear
exciting
public comment
awards
about
program called Make Waves. Thank you,
I can
guys.
start talking while this starts loading,
Sure.
assuming that I can actually get it to work correctly. I'll wait for, there we go. Okay. Present. So it's very quick. We had to impromptu move this up, but I just want to say, so since I arrived here a couple years ago, I thought, there's something very special about this community, and I can't say it enough, and that it takes more than just the employees here, and it takes more than just the volunteers and the residents and the businesses. We really have something special here, and we have momentum in this community that is incredibly positive, and we want to keep it that way. And so I wanted to create something that really recognized that sense of community and really people who shine in that environment. And so the Make Waves Awards is something that Amanda and I have been talking about and working on since last fall, and really putting into motion. And what it is it's a town recognition program that honors employees and volunteers and residents. And it's about acts of service, which is very fitting for people who go above and beyond and out of their way in the community to really, they're the best of Orleans. They really, what we value most here about art and culture and land and all of those pieces that we all cherish, they really recognize those, and they're the best of us. And so this program this year is about, we'll take nominations from the community. The executive team which is made up of the chiefs, myself, the DPW director. We will review the nominations every year, and we will award certain members of the community. So the first section that we'll award is for long-term service, and that's about employees who have served, and right now we're still debating, we think 15 years of service with the community, subcontractors who've served here for a long time, and then select board members who are stepping off of their term, which you'll see why we've added this on to tonight's agenda. So I'm going to give you some examples when we're thinking about this awards that are very easy to come to the top of your head, which is we have a number of employees retiring this year, including Todd in the water department, and he would be an excellent recipient of this award. So I know you're like, what does that mean? We have Mike Ford, our longtime council, beloved town council, such a value to the community. He will also at some point be awarded with one of these this year. And then anyone else for any reason in the community can be nominated and will be reviewed and considered. We don't have a select numbers. We're saying up to 5, but honestly, it's flexible. It's meant to be very positive. And in addition to these service awards and the Make Waves Awards, we also, the select board will continue with this practice, which you think of as Citizen of the Year, but it's Good Citizenship Award, and they will nominate amongst themselves and award once a year a resident from the community who has done something that they feel is worthy of that honor. Now, what do they get for all this great award? Why does it matter? This is easy. We want to recognize the culture of appreciation here. That's no question. It creates a lasting tradition, and more importantly for me, and I'll show you this incredible design, I really wanted to create something really beautiful here that represented the community, that showed that we are all in one big school of fish, and we are all one group. So within this same incredible art piece, we will have the longtime service members of the staff. We will have the Make Waves award winners from the community, and we'll have the select board. We'll have all of us all together in one installation piece on the wall. And this will be featured, Amanda's gonna tell you more about it in a minute, but it's gonna be featured right in our staircase coming up. And it's done by Steve Swain, everybody's favorite and local artist. So he's gonna come in and do the installation soon. And you should know that it's going to be installed in this way so that you will see the full installation. It won't be one at a time, but over time, and this is very close for a lot of you to see, and I did print a couple, the name of the person and the year will be on a fish that is in this mix somewhere. And we will have a web page that you will be able to reference by the year, and you will go and see why the award recipient received it for that year. We will do a more formal presentation of this with a ribbon cutting and all of that, but we wanted to do it tonight because we have our first official, go ahead, say the Steve Swain, local artist. So
Oh, no,
important. Say all of those things, which we all know.
I don't
in
have
this
much
room.
to
You don't have
add.
tell us.
You did a really great job explaining it. I do want to mention that the recipient awards, the fish will be a little bit bigger and come out a little bit more, so you'll be able to see them. And also, I, of course, am ecstatic that we'll be commissioning a local artist, investing in our local economy, and having this beautiful artistic installation that is accessible
It's
to
gonna be
everybody in
incredible.
our public building. So,
Incredible.
yeah.
But we are here tonight because we want to give our first official award out to our beloved select board member who is leaving her term at the end. So Andrea will forever be the first recipient of this award, created by Steve Swain. The recipient will get their own Steve Swain art piece to take home. And so it may seem a little last minute, but it was incredibly important that you be the first for all of us. And so we welcome all nominations all the time, and we have a committee, and it's open to the public and all of that. So that is all for my presentation.
Awesome.
Thank you for indulging me in one of my crazy ideas, as usual.
Thank you so much, Kim. And again, I can just say, thanks to Amanda and Kim, because they have been thinking, working hard on this, and someone who's no longer here with us said many times, you can never thank people enough. So this is good. This is really good. And Andrea, so well-deserved. Thank you for
I've
all
only
of your
done 2
service.
terms.
Thank you for all your service.
To take a picture with that before you go.
Yes.
I know everybody wants to see it in more detail, so you should know.
I'll put it out first.
Okay.
And I just have to say, this is not to generate a tear, but for those that have ever worked with Andrea, whether she was a liaison to your committee or she was out and about, Andrea has made us all better public servants. So thank you for that. Okay, 5:30, perfect timing, you guys. We have a public hearing on beach fee changes requested by our natural resource manager, Nate Sears. I see you're here. I think I need to read this. So, on Wednesday, May 6th, 2026, at 5:30 PM, the Select Board will hold a public hearing in the Nauset Room of Town Hall to consider proposed changes to beaches enterprise fund fees, including but not limited to resident beach and non-resident daily beach parking stickers. The purpose of the hearing is to receive public input regarding the proposed fee changes, which are included in the warrant article to be presented at annual town meeting Monday. All interested parties invited to attend. Stacy and Nate, welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Nate Sears, Natural Resources, Stacy Favor, Assistant to the Director. not sure exactly how the hearing will proceed, but we're here tonight to propose raising the daily parking fee at Nauset Beach from $32.50 to $35. And we're also proposing to raise the resident taxpayer season pass from $25 to $35. And we have comparative data if that's value to the conversation.
Only thing you might add is, anyone that's been following the budget details knows when we reviewed the enterprise fund, we knew this hearing was coming. You already talked about the need for the revenue, but anything you might want to say in terms of when we first went to 25, how many years has it been that we've been sitting there, and how you see
Yeah,
it?
I mean, it's a evolving process. Prior to the enterprise fund, there was actually a point where, resident season passes were no cost. They were free, right? So we're looking at the enterprise fund, and we're trying to make it more user fee based and focus on the people that are actually using the operation to fund, try to fund a proportion of that, the cost to the operation. We're also looking, and Stacy's done her homework, looking and meeting with other beach managers in the surrounding communities, and we need to catch up, quite frankly. And we're running a deficit in the enterprise fund, and the bigger conversation, like we've had the last meeting we had, is that we need to schedule that for the fall and talk about and look at the beach's enterprise policy and what our goals are moving forward.
Questions, board members?
Yeah, I have one.
Please, Andrew.
Nate, do you envision that, if you're in a family with multiple cars, each car will pay $35?
Yes.
Yeah, just so we know what we're voting on.
Yep. Other questions?
No,
Yes,
other than
please.
thank you.
I would just say, and I might get this wrong, but the question of how much an enterprise fund should rely on user fees and how much it should rely on subsidy from the general fund. In the beach case, it's still $500,000 worth of subsidy from the general fund to bring it up to break even, which is, I think, the way these enterprise funds should work. I mean, I think it's a partnership between user fees and taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, at this point, we're relying on retained earnings, but the day's gonna come where we're gonna run out of retained earnings, and we don't wanna wait to that point before having the conversation. We wanna forecast that day coming.
Yeah, so just a clarification, we're not subsidizing like we do the transfer station. What Nate's point is what we thought we were building up for future equipment or replacement or capital projects is what we're diving into, so.
We're draining our piggy bank.
Yes, exactly. Any questions on this from the public? This is a public hearing. Important that anyone be heard. Scott, please come up.
Evening, Nate. Not a comment on the actual public hearing, but can we get together with the police department and increase the fines for the no parking at different landings? I believe that parking ticket is $35. So I can park at a landing for the same amount
No,
that I
it's
can park.
50. It's 50.
Did it go to 50?
Yeah, we
Okay.
changed it already.
Okay.
Still too close. But there's-
I'll
there-
agree with you, yes, it
The
is.
state has limits on how much you can
Okay, good, thank you.
Good point. Thank you, Scott. Yes, Tony, please.
Tony Pearl, Pride's Path. I think this increase is absolutely needed so that we can function as a more financially responsible community.
Thank you. Just when you mentioned, and Stacy, just from a comparative, how out of whack might we be? And I include the Seashore too, because I know they've increased substantially.
They have, believe it or not, Dennis is the highest at $60 for residents. Barnstable is 50, Eastham's 50, Falmouth is 40, Sandwich, Wellfleet, and Yarmouth are all at 35. So I think we're right there.
Very helpful, very helpful. Okay. Any other public comments? I think the case has been made, wouldn't you say, board members?
Mr. Chair.
Please.
I think we should note that this is going to go to town meeting, but it is only the resident taxpayer going to town meeting because the other one's under 10%?
Yes.
Okay, so it's only the one question, the other one's, okay. Thank
point.
you, thank you.
No, that's good. Mr. Chair, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a motion?
I move that we adopt the proposed fee changes as referenced in our packet for 5/6/26. I don't have a page number, on page 14.
Moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments on this? I got one quick one. You got staff lined up for stickers?
I do. Tuesday at 9 a.m., everything goes live,
Oh, wow.
online and in person.
I didn't use online, and I was glad to actually go in just to see how well it works, so you guys are great. All right, I'll call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I would suggest you might want to read the motion, then the motion sheet. It's just
Sorry.
subject to town meeting. I
subject
think
to.
you should-
Town meeting
should
approval. Can I,
reference
All right.
Mr. Chair, can I amend my
We're
motion?
unwinding that motion. Would you please make the motion all over again?
I move that we approve the proposed fee changes as presented for Orleans resident beach parking stickers and the non-resident daily parking fee, subject to annual town meeting approval and effective May 12th, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are we precise as we need to be? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thanks, you guys. All right. See you at town meeting. Okay, you guys, public hearing done. Next up, vote to expend funds in the amount of $138,000 from the Special Ed Stabilization Fund to the elementary school to offset unanticipated tuition and transportation costs. I know, Sassy, you're here. Want to say a few words? Happy to put this on for you.
You know, I love
The
the
world
mic.
the world you live in.
Thank you, everyone, for having us here. The Orleans School Committee is seeking the approval of the Select Board to access the Special Ed Stabilization Fund in the amount of $138,000 to offset FY26 in our unanticipated special ed tuition. That includes a total of $73,405 and our out-of-district transportation of $69,000. Expenditures from this fund require a majority vote of the Select Board and the School Committee. We approved our vote on April 13th, 2026.
Any questions?
No.
No? I do have just one, and I know the need, I have no qualm, but what if we didn't approve this? What would happen? And I'm not going to put you in that situation, but just if someone's wondering, you know,
we need to go to the voters and ask for more,
yeah,
correct?
thanks.
Mentor?
Our budget is in the negative now. I don't know what we would do.
Toss an email to a girl.
The point of this dialogue is having these stabilization funds gives flexibility and support for these things beyond you guys' control.
Right.
So,
Unfortunately, we decided to establish the stabilization fund several years ago, and so it's just working like it should work.
It's designed.
Right.
So, good. I think we are all satisfied. I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Wait,
Aye.
oh, you had the motion.
I did hear a motion.
The motion?
Yep. Didn't Marcus?
Yes, somebody made this motion.
No, no, I don't
Okay.
think so. We talked about it.
I was ready
Sassy
to go.
reported the
Mr.
vote.
Chair, I would
Please.
move to approve the expenditure of $138,000 from the Special Education Stabilization Fund for unanticipated FY26 costs related to OES tuition and transportation.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further questions? You'll only have to put up with me for another few minutes. This will be Mev's role in the future, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approved.
you so much.
Thank you
both.
very much.
Thanks for what you do, seriously.
Thank you.
Okay, discuss and vote to support comprehensive permit application submitted by POA, HAC, and Habitat for Humanity for the redevelopment of 66 and 76 Route 6A. I asked, when I first saw this come in, to put this on for discussion and the possible vote. I'm not sure we're ready, but did everybody see the ZBA application? It's, to me, it's got a few missing supporting documents and clarifications, so, you know, whatever the board wants. But my hope was we could be promoting, supporting something that we have advocated for and want this to move forward.
The
So
ZBA wanted our comments, right?
I just, you know, I think there's a few loose ends. That's what I'm saying. But,
I guess
F.
if I, oh, go ahead.
Well, I would just say that this is maybe the first application since Orleans passed the 10% threshold for the 40B sort of exemption. And so this is a friendly 40B. And Elizabeth, keep me online. So it's a little bit of a, this isn't the developer coming in and sort of saying, this is it. This is something that we're negotiating with the developer which is a good thing.
yeah, and I'll just share the one point in terms of my read of the whole application was just one line, that they're asking for exemptions from all water and sewer fees for what they call lowercase a affordable units. And my little brain would like to see a list of what is being asked for, just so we know and are treating everyone fair and appropriately. So, Elizabeth, do you have any insight?
I mean, I'm happy to talk to that. I think it's not unusual in a comprehensive permit for the applicant to sort of put in those blanket waivers or comprehensive requests. Generally, I advise the ZBA not to follow on and grant blanket waivers. So relative to the fees, I do believe that we'll have a subsequent conversation, and we already have put this in front of town council to get clarity on all of the fees that will apply to the project, whose purview they are, because they may not fall under the type of local regulation that the Zoning Board of Appeals may have the ability to waive. Some of those may come in front of the select board because they're a separate select board policy, and have a conversation separate from the merits of the project, of the affordable housing project, on how to proceed on those requests for fee waivers and exactly what they may be looking for.
Thank you. Micah, you're going to add?
Yeah, it was similar to that, I see this as a couple different questions, and I'm not quite sure. I mean, there's the zoning relief,
Right.
which I think, of course, I would be, and I believe everybody would be very generous. We knew this coming into the project, the Affordable Housing Trust, that building this density was going to require zoning relief. So there's that, but then there's the other portions, which are sewers, which haven't had to work on a project before yet. And are those under our purview, or are those under the Board of Water and Sewer to grant any
Board of Health.
relief on Board of Health, Board of Water and Sewer? I'm not sure.
It's water and sewer primarily, yeah.
And there wasn't any numbers or details in here.
Right.
And then the other one is the building, and is that under the building department, or is that under the purview of us? That's why there wasn't as much information, but as a select board, I definitely, we're partners in this project, and I think we all want to be very generous in a realistic way, but it's hard to make a decision or recommendation without figures.
And can I jump on
Please.
that? Because on page 41, 42, and 43, there's specific relief asked that covers so many disciplines and so many different departments in our town, and we're not seeing anything concrete about what it leads to. So we're between a rock and a hard place on this.
But yet, I think all of us would say.
Supportive.
We fully
Right,
support.
right.
It's just we like to know some details. So,
Right.
David, please.
So I attended the site plan review meeting today, and the representative for the project was not aware that these waivers were even asked for.
Oh,
And it sounds like it may be a non-issue.
great.
And there will be clarification on that.
Good.
Thank you.
So maybe no action is prudent? on
It's
that?
fine, yep. And as soon as we may have enough clarification, we'll bring it back for voter support.
Can we just make sure that there isn't a timeline sensitivity from Elizabeth
Certainly.
about why it's here and
No, sure. It's here because you received the notice, which is required to go out timely when an application is received. So that goes out to all local boards, which is why it was placed on your agenda. The ZBA public hearing is set to open on May 20th. And then it will certainly be up to the zoning board, but I would advise them a continuation of the application and to keep that public hearing open to allow boards the benefit of the full presentation of the applicant in front of the zoning board of appeals. So if they do have questions, as we might hear, outstanding or additional comment, they have the ability to provide that comment back to the zoning board as the comprehensive permit
So that
grantor.
meeting date with ZBA is set for May?
May 20th
20th.
for the opening of the public hearing.
So, Mr. Chair, could I maybe say that, since they're asking for our comments, that we are very supportive of the project, but don't really want to get into detailed comment until after the presentation on May 20th?
Sounds good. Sent to the board, agreed?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, folks. So next up, we have in our packet, this is item 10, discussion and vote to support recommendation related to demolition. I know Rick Pomeroy is here. I think Ted Galante may be on to support. And again, I'll just say quickly, Rick, you can come up either at the table here, podium, but thank you very much for the work you did on this additional effort. We appreciate having that, and certainly open for discussion from the board, and take it from here. So, board members, you've got it in the packet. Any questions you might have? Hi, Ted, we see you. Thank you. So, questions? Michael,
I
please.
don't have any specific questions. I do appreciate you guys putting the detail in there, and that was very helpful. So I appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
So I think, the question, and it goes to, one of how we shepherd our properties and don't destroy something we might reuse in the future for a municipal purpose. And again, with the memo, I think it fully explains why demolition is our option, and we should vote that. If someone would be comfortable making that motion.
I will make the motion, sir. I move that we support the recommendation of the Fire Rescue Station Building Committee to demolish the existing fire station in alignment with the current site plan designs produced by Ted Galante Architectural Studio.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions?
I mean, my only discussion is, I think you all know my view. It's been there since the beginning. I've looked at the escalators. I've looked at the cost of what we think it's a 4.5% escalator on the project per year. In 15 years, when we look to build a building there, it could cost anywhere upwards of $40 million for the same 13,000 square foot, based on the $1,750 per square foot, escalated 4.5% every year for the next 15 years. It's a $40 million project. I think would be remiss as a community for this project. Sure, it might work to move this individual project forward, but our job is the vision of looking at this community as a whole for the future generations, not just one project. So that's my opinion. I know I'm probably in the minority, but that's it.
Understood. All right. Any other comments?
I'll just say that I think when this whole process started, I was in the camp of wanting to save this, and I think there were other people on the board that were in the same place. And so it's just a reality check as a result of all the design work that's been done, that I think it's clearly, in my opinion, has to go. Not happily, but.
But also, can I pile on to that? Because I also thought preserve and reuse the building. And when I think about the performance I expect of buildings for public health, safety, energy, and livability for the community to have programs in a building, this is not that building that I would want for our town.
Yeah, I think toward the end of the memo, I just kind of scanned. I mean, we're still in discussion before we vote, but I mean, long-term implications, all I saw were risks. Ongoing maintenance burden, insurability, abandonment on site. There's a host of things, but again, no one can say we didn't carefully consider this and see that this helps support moving forward a really important project. So with that note, yeah, please, Mark.
Just to finish off the discussion, perhaps, anyone that watched or attended the Fire Rescue Building Committee meetings knows the amount of discussion we had on this. And I think several points were germane in terms of trying to save that building and the additional cost that it put onto the construction of the new building, just to keep that building sitting there. For what purpose, you know, we might want it in the future or whatever, but the additional costs. And then at the last meeting, we refined things even more to the point of, I think Ted was able to move the site of the new building further to the west, alleviating a lot of need for retaining walls and whatever to the east side towards the school fields, the middle school, Nauset Regional Middle School fields, saving another large sum of money by doing that. And you know, I think one of the points that was made at some point by someone was, now that we have the new theoretically half acre of land, if it gets voted at town meeting, in Article 16, you know, we have more land to play with there, and we don't need to worry about that. But that's just not accurate. Right. That what that new piece of land does is give us access to the site that we were going to have to try and get off of the elementary school driveway. So we don't really gain any extra land. It just eliminates the need to take land or put in a new access route to the back of the site off the elementary school parking area. So it would cost us a lot of money to keep that building there in terms of building the new building. And I think the latest design that we looked at, you know, shows potential solar canopy. It shows the site of the septic system, because I think we're looking at the ability to hook up to sewer is way too far in the distant future. That hasn't been determined yet, because we're still looking for the final numbers on height of the building and the flow, which way it could go, whatever. Rich Waldo's looking at all those things. But, you know, the reality is, it would cost us a whole lot of money to keep that building sitting there and try and build around it. It just wouldn't work.
But if I may, we are building around it because they're keeping it functional throughout the whole process of the build.
But once we move into the new fire station, then the regrading that takes place will no longer need to have retaining walls so that the driveway goes back to that building. We'll be able to get in the outside storage building with solar panels on that and the solar array. So, yeah, it's there, it's in the way, and once we move in, then that becomes valuable space for the new building and access to the new building.
Thanks. Anything, Ted, on this memo you want to add? We do have a motion, and I can call for vote, but anything you want to add, please?
I think I'm good. I think, you know, the biggest issue, I think, to Mark's point is, you know, we would have to go back to the 3-story building if we tried to keep the existing building, which would change not only the financial aspect, but it would change everything we've done to date.
Yeah. Rick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rick Pomeroy Associates. And it would have a big effect on operations as well. By being able to build the 2-story building, it allows us to have all of our apparatus on the same floor. It does require us to fill the site, but Select Board Member Herman is correct that we're keeping the building there temporarily while we're building the site, but ultimately, when it's gone and the site is level graded, it provides us for a much more accessible site. And I would love to take credit for this report that you have in front of you, but all of the credit goes to Ted and his team at the Galante Architect Studios.
Thank you, Ted. Nick Athanasio from Finance Committee.
I think that we can't afford to do this. We have to keep costs down. I know that hypothetically in the future we could save from a hypothetical 45 million to a hypothetical 23 million, but we can't do that anymore. We have other projects coming up and people are skittish. We need to get the fire station approved, and we need to show that we are being prudent. Thank you.
Thanks. And just as folks know, we have three kind of related, but they've been sequenced in this way because each one builds on the other. So by this vote, it's important that it then supports the next vote and the next vote. So, all right, so we do have the motion. Any further discussion? I think we're good. I'll call for motion in favor of the demolition as proposed.
Aye.
Aye.
No.
So it's 4-1-0. Okay. Next item is discussion and vote on the new fire rescue station building design is recommended. And I know David Little, chair, is here, Rick as well as Ted. I listened in from the back. Mark, you were both there. Really great meeting, you guys. And I've said it over and over again, the entire committee contributes so much, and you guys take everything into account, and I think you've got a good recommendation for us. So who wants to present?
I think we'll turn it over to Ted, if that's okay, Mark?
Yes, Ted, are you going to share this, or do you need us to bring it up here?
I think I can share it, providing this all goes well. So let's see how we do. And let me know if you can see the cover.
There we go. There we go.
Yep. Okay. So I'll talk this through, and please ask or interrupt as we go forward. But we want to talk about the existing site conditions, the proposed plan. I'll go very quickly through construction phasing, show you the building plans, the conceptual massing, talk about net zero, and then overall schedule and budget. So the existing site conditions, as we know, we're part of the larger piece of property as part of the OES property, and we've got 58 here, the existing building, and 56, which is the existing dental clinic. We're going to focus in on the right-hand bottom corner of the existing this piece of property, what's outlined in red, and we're keeping the discussion to that. The select board might remember that at one point there was some discussion about integrating the OES entrance, but the wise decision to buy that parcel at 0.48 acres is really helping the cause here and getting this building to be done properly. This is the existing site plan, a model, 3D model of the existing site plan. The existing building is here. The contour lines are these curvy, wavy guys. They show the shape of the land, and then the section cuts are to say where we're looking at it. And I think, as we all know, the land is very contoured. It dips down very far, it goes back up, and that's been part of the struggle for the fire department to be able to use that land in any useful and safe way. And so the idea is to level the land all around this entire site to give the fire rescue department really set them up for a successful future, to be able to operate out of 2 stories and drive directly from the elevation of their building right onto Eldridge Parkway, elevation of their building right out and onto Eldridge Parkway. The building sits just on Eldridge Parkway. It's back from the street roughly 54 feet. Excuse me. There is obviously the red shape is the new building. There's an outbuilding in the right-hand corner back here, more like a storage shed for some vehicles, not a place where people are going to stay. The existing traffic light is here, that's on Eldridge, that you're all familiar with. We're bending the road in slightly to get in and around and have another access path just on the other side of the building with a new traffic light. We have 13 visitors parking spaces. We kind of pinch the space down there and put up a couple of signs that are authorized vehicles. Command staff parks in the back of that side, and then staff and/or trainers, other companies coming in for training, park in the back. That's an entrance in the rear that get the firefighters and such into the building, and there's an entrance in the front to get the public into the building. And so it took some work and a lot of discussion with, again, the building committee has been great, and the team has been really great. And we're able to land at a place where Eldridge has a great street front presence. When we start cutting sections through the new site, we can see how level it is. And based on site placement of the entire development, we have eliminated expensive, a couple of 100 feet worth of retaining walls, and we're able to slope the land down to Nauset Field. We would still have a fence. There's currently a chain link fence there to keep student athletes on their side and the fire department on their side. We would still have that fence, but the grading work is manageable with slopes, which will help greatly. Construction phasing, we've talked about this for a while, where we have the existing building back here. We need to isolate this portion of the site, really this whole portion of the site, in order to build this building. We're going to allow the fire department to come in and out of here, provide the structure for them to go in and out of there safely, and provide the structure for the contractors to come into this side of the site safely, have their trailer and their laydown area and all of the space they need. It's still not that big of a site because there's a lot of work that has to happen here. But by building retaining walls into the ground, sheet piling, not retaining walls, sheet piling, or supportive excavation, SOE, we're providing the ability for them to demolish the building and to level the piece of land with rough grading, get the building built in that isolated zone behind a fence. Probably a 14-16 month process, and get the septic system in the back here, keeping the existing building active and going, reconnecting the utilities, moving the fire department, fire rescue department into the building, and it's going to end up being a slightly phased move, taking down the existing building, regrading the rest of the site, and then having the rest of the fence removed and making it an official site. So we've thought through the phasing. I think we've got, there might be one other step we're going to add in there, but we think that that's a logical approach to the overall project. The building plans, again, 2-story building. The red zone is the hot zone. It's where we call it the sort of dirtier zone. The yellow is the transition. It's a buffer between the red and the green. And then the green is the clean zone. And so on the first floor, we have a welcome entrance and lobby here, some offices, living quarters are all along the left-hand side, kitchen day room in the back, staff entrance in the back. All the apparatus, ambulances, fire trucks, etc., are in the red zone, and there's some support spaces in that red zone. On the upper level, we have all the office space and training area that the fire department needs, and there's a mezzanine in that zone here, which is a training mezzanine. We're making good use of the height of the building to make that happen, and there's a training tower in the corner. And we're roughly 39,000, just about 40,000 square feet, and so the building meets the program. And so we've been working with the chief and the deputy chief, and they've been fantastic at providing really clear feedback, and we've been making some adjustments. And I think the floor plans are very, very, very close to where they need to be, other than maybe a couple of internal check pieces here and there. So we're going to talk about conceptual massing. We're looking at two options, really. There's the flat roof version, which we formerly labeled net zero. There was some concern that it was misleading because the others weren't going to be net zero, but they are in fact going to be net zero. So there's we have a south-facing facade, and so we're providing shading for the offices up above, and there's an entranceway down here. This is the apparatus floor in this zone, and we're breaking up the massing on this side where the Nauset fields are. There's, we're by creating this kind of staccato rhythm, we break up the massing on that side. There's solar panels covering the roofs on all the versions that you'll see. From the rear of the building, this is the ambulance bay, all the apparatus is on that side. There's the staff entrance on this side, the fitness center here, offices above, bunk rooms below. Roof plan just to show you that there's a lot of solar panels, and that is the flat roof version. This is kind of a view from Eldridge Parkway, the beginning of what the view would look like. The second version we call was transitional. It is also a net zero building. We have solar panels on the flat roof, of course, and solar panels on the east and the west, the side you can't see, of the gable roof. And so again, apparatus on this side, office and living quarters on this side. The floor plan is the same, just two different roof types. That same condition from the rear, where we have solar along the western portion of the roof and on the flat roof and on the eastern portion that you can't see. We're starting to show rooftop units. We're not sure exactly of their placement. We're going to try and be sure that we place them away from visuals wherever we can. This is the preliminary roof plan of the transitional. And this is sort of the view that we would see from Eldridge Parkway. And so we wanted to have two options on the table because I think we wanted to talk about them a little bit, but net zero for either of these is employing renewable energy sources on site to offset all energy use on site. And we have some calculations that have been done that are based on the preliminary design. We still have some work that we're going to have to do. The building size when these calcs were done was 41,000 square feet. We're down to 39. The energy use index, the EUI, this is an important number, so that we're an energy use index of 35 kBTU per square foot per year. So it's 35,000 British thermal units per square foot per year. That is what we're aiming for. There's an annual consumption rate. We need a certain amount of on-site energy production to achieve net zero. And the square foot of photovoltaic needed for net zero is 22,000 square feet, right? So we're 22,000 square feet is what we need. So on the flat roof version, we think we can get roughly 13,000 square feet on the existing on the flat roof building. We think we can get another 1,900 square feet on the outbuilding. And so we're proposing a solar canopy, in this case, of 6,800 square feet. We don't know that the solar canopy is going to be in this location. It's probably going to be more tied to the outbuilding so that it's one extent as opposed to three different sources with other components. But the point is, we need a solar canopy because of the building can only handle a certain amount of a certain amount of square footage of solar panels. On the transitional version, we can fit more solar panels on the building because of the hypotenuse effect, it's called, the slope of the gable roof to the left. This is this portion over here. The outbuilding is the same 1,900 square feet, and so in this case we need 3,800 square feet. So the first one, we need a 6,800 square foot solar canopy, and the second one we need a 3,800 square foot solar canopy. Both of those get us to net zero. So we just wanted to make it clear that going from We had the previously, the flat roof version was called solar canopy, and we wanted to make sure we didn't cause any confusion by changing the name. So both of them can be net zero. Schedule and budget. We are in schematic design. We are a bit behind schedule because we've been really literally the shifting ground beneath us, of going from the OES property, trying to fit on the existing dental office, and then the town moving toward purchasing the 0.48 acres. So it's put some schedule pressure on us, and so we're trying to get to a decision so that we can finalize this schematic design phase, get a very good cost estimate, and then move into the other phases. Speaking of cost, I think Rick would talk about the cost estimate, but you probably can't read what's on the screen because it's too small, so let me try and zoom in.
We zoomed in here so we can see it.
Mark Reel has the same version of your presentation, and he's enlarged it, so we can see.
Okay, beautiful. So Rick, I'll let you take it for a minute.
Thank you, Ted. I think everyone's seen our detailed budget, and we were looking at a low end to high end values, and the bottom line figures. If you look at there's a lot of information here, but if we look at the bottom line figures on the sheet, we've taken out the Article 12 appropriation. We've included in this budget the land up in the top of the budget, both parcels, with the hopes that 48 Eldridge Park passes. And then this is similar to our sources and uses. Basically, we've got our uses above and our sources down below, and we've included the Article 12, 4.5 million, the Article 8, 1.35 million, and then the hopefully to pass Article 16, 600,000. So it leaves us with a low end of 52,200,000 and a high end of 59,600,000, and that's what we've been sort of working off of in our generations recently. I think you might have received a memo from the assistant town manager regarding a target that we're working towards, which is 55 million. And a lot of things have taken place since we started, really looking at the numbers. We have more definition, as it relates to. We're going to talk about the recommended design in our meeting. We probably put the budget in front of the design recommendation, but we're going to talk about the recommended design, that being the transitional roof design. Also, the proposed land acquisition allows us to move that building more westerly in avoiding an access point at OES and supplemental parking for that. So that's a great savings to the project. We're also moving it westerly. We avoid adding a lengthy and expensive retaining wall all along the ball fields. And we've had more definition with our site plan. And we also have our geotechnical results back, which are favorable, which has always been an unknown. And a more refined, I'd say we're about 99.1% there with our floor plan and our program. So we're in a position where we feel comfortable, recommending that 55 million be the target for the ask. In our budget, we have included owner's contingency, and the estimates include an escalation factor to December of '27, and we've included in the estimates an owner's contingency of 10% above and beyond our additional costs. We have 10% on the construction and an escalation factor on soft costs of about 5%. So we feel that we've built in as reasonable factors. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't, when we started this project, we weren't at war. So we have no way of knowing exactly where we have a good idea where things will go. We've gone through these roller coasters before. We went through COVID. and all of the escalations that took place during that and the factors. And so we've worked with our estimators, we work with the Galante Group and their team and ourselves, and we've put what we feel is a reasonable safety net for this. But we need to move forward. We need to get into a solid schematic design. So our recommendation, you've seen the memo from Mark, so I sort of dovetailed a few things together, Mark, so you probably want to take them one at a time, but.
You should. And again, the first of these kind of two is to perhaps delve a little bit more into what's referred to as the transitional design, meaning one side has the gable, the other apparatus side is flat roof. As Ted said, all net zero. And I think, David, if you want to say anything, or the chief, relative to, all your discussion as you consider the concepts, I think the fire rescue.
Not you.
Okay, Fire Rescue Building
Picture,
Committee
the picture.
did vote. Mark, you might want to chime in terms of the deliberation they took, but they are recommending to us the transitional design. And again, as we heard from Rick and Ted, they need this because this really allows them to really hone in on the next steps.
Mr. Chair, if I could add something to that. These are pretty much box designs to show us the massing at this point. It's very important for the public and everyone to understand that this has not been detailed out. So there'll be a lot more detail to these, but basically what we're showing to you today is just the massing concepts for the two different proposals.
Mark, anything to say in terms of the Building Committee's recommendation?
Yeah, once again, we had lengthy discussions about this. I think aesthetically, everyone was on board with the transitional, what's labeled as a transitional building where we had the gable roofs. There was a lot of discussion and concern about aesthetically how it would look in the neighborhood. I think what we want to do is try and get potentially for town meeting, I'm not sure if we can do that or not, but as we move forward, street level views with surrounding buildings and trees and whatnot, so that you have an idea of the scale of what it looks like from a 360-degree walk around of the proposed buildings. Will come in the future, but initially, I think one of the reasons why there was so much discussion was Ted had alluded to using just a cubic foot metric to determine the cost of the building, and because when you put that triangle on top of the flat roof, you increase the cubic foot capacity of the building, which increased the cost, although I think we had further discussion on that, and I think we came down substantially from the potential $4 million extra cost based strictly on cubic foot increase to something 2 million maybe or less. There's more complexity in building a gable roof building with whether you use trusses or other methods to achieve that, but the cost per cubic foot of a building overall, based on all the things that are inside the building, is what makes it seem inflated, and essentially you don't have all those things up in the attic, so it's not going to be that much per cubic foot. The other plus was that we could hide the elevator shaft coming through the roof of the flat roof building. We could hide a lot of the other mechanical issues where you have roof penetration on a flat roof that always causes problems. Those things can be negated by going with the gable roof. So after a lengthy discussion, the group was pretty comfortable with recommending to the select board that they approve the transitional type gable roof on that part of the building.
Great. Yeah, I think the point you mentioned about the mechanicals having the benefit of being placed up in that, call it the attic space. Rich Waldo noted that. And, if you, think of seeing those boxes on the flat roof side, there could be a lot more, pipes and penetrations and other boxes. So it has, some drawbacks. But again, the committee did a great job, and from a standpoint of, service needs, space needs, from the chief, I mean, I heard your comment, either building meets the space needs. It's really all the other aspects that come into play. So how do folks feel about perhaps making a motion that we support the recommendation we've heard on the transitional design concept? Andrea?
I would be happy to do that. Can I ask a question
Please.
first? As somebody who served 9 years on the planning board, and I know our design guidelines really frown on flat roofs in town. There was a long history of banning flat roofs. So my question is, because this is a very practical concern, did the committee, or is there any advantage, I've seen it done in other communities, I have no expertise, but just raking the solar array on top of the flat roof, so the appearance is still one of a break in the design, and might come to some advantage of that southern exposure. Just to, so that even my own home, they raked the solar panels on a roof line. Just to give relief from that flat roof or somehow deal with it, because it's a disconnect for us as a community to build a flat roof when we're asking and not allowing it anywhere else.
It's something we certainly can look at.
Great. Other than that, I would like to move that we adopt the transition design for the new fire station.
Except.
Except, wait, and let me read it right, because I already got burned on this. I would move that we accept the Fire Rescue Station Building Committee's design recommendation.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and that is referred to as the transitional design.
Yes.
Michael,
I have
please.
some questions, if I
Sure.
could. I think it's been stated clearly by the chief, both designs meet all of the service deliverables, and one's not better than the other. So it really just comes, in my opinion, I guess, down to an aesthetic choice, right? I'm looking at the budget until I just heard from Mark. I mean, we're seeing here it's $4.3 million difference in the cost. To me, that's a lot, $4.3 million. When we wrestle with things on this board of $50,000, $100,000, $300,000, $1 million for an aesthetic choice. I love modern design. I don't see any issue with the flat roof if it can save us $4.3 million. Well, that's what it says right there.
And I explained to you that was based on a cubic foot, and it says right there, based on cubic foot
Right.
of space, which Ted explained to us was just not an accurate number, and I think we can.
That's,
That's here.
yeah, that's correct. We, in our meeting on Monday, this was put together, quickly before the committee meeting, and we had the early conversation, and then during the meeting, that the $4.3 million differential is not accurate. Because when you're estimating a project, you're usually looking at the entire building as a whole in square footage, and it's a much higher square footage. The same cubic cost there was applied to the roof area, which it really shouldn't have been. It's more like a $2 million differential. And this is one of the reasons that we're feeling more comfortable with making the recommendation of the $55 million overall project.
Yeah,
And I think, if I
Give
might
it
add.
to me.
Ted's going to jump in.
Yeah, please.
Oh, Ted, did you want to?
Yeah, sorry, if I might add, part of the reason we were doing the cubic analysis is because we had 4 concepts on the table to offer the town a few options and to think through those options. And really, the flat roof version, Michael, you're correct, was the least expensive. The transitional was slightly more expensive, and then there was a third one and a fourth one that the dollar signs kept going up. And so that's why we applied the cubic foot analysis. And we never sort of backed out of that analysis. But all logic, building committee, agreed with this. It's on us. But the adding that gable roof and the length of the gable roof is not going to be another $4.3 million. What we need to do is to go through the exercise of finishing the design to a point where we can take it now to cost estimators and get accurate numbers. The numbers, because of the pace, the numbers, for some of the early estimates, included different property configurations. And so what we want, what we're asking for is to be able to move forward with transitional, finish the design, take it to the cost estimators, get real numbers. And if we're still looking at too much money, we have the option to get rid of the transitional roof and go back to the flat roof, because that's an easy value engineer out. So we're going to be looking to save money at each turn, but there is the question of town context and all of those questions that we didn't want to present just an option with flat roof and eliminate the possibility for aesthetic concerns, because quite frankly, those can be very strong in many communities, the aesthetics. The building will be there for 50 years. So we're trying to get it right in every way. We're trying to, get to each cohort or each stakeholder and make sure that we're doing right by that group. But this won't be the last moment to look at if it's too expensive, we can remove the roof and go back to flat roof.
So we will have a chance to revisit this once you have the costing. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's right, and I think that's right.
I just want to start one point, just to remind everybody, we're just voting on the dollar amount. The design will not be finalized at town meeting.
Right now.
It's,
No, I
yes.
understand
right
that, but
now
we're
is
asking
just the
to
concept of
vote
the
right
building.
now.
Right.
That's what right now is.
Yeah, which is,
We're not talking dollars right
which
now.
troubles me because we haven't even had a public hearing and any input from stakeholders or the public on the design of this. So I don't know why we're voting on the design at this stage.
We're voting on a concept of
It
the
says the
design as
design.
opposed to, the committee recommended that we go with this concept as opposed to 2 flat roofs.
Mhm.
So we're voting on going forward with what the committee recommended, so that the architect can move forward and actually get us the real design, get us the real numbers. If at that point, it appears to be too expensive, we can go back to a flat roof. But for all the reasons that were previously stated, the committee has brought this proposal forward to the select board to vote on. So the things that you're asking for won't come until the future. We're not voting on a final design tonight, only on this concept so the architect can move forward with creating the design so that we can get the real numbers.
Great.
Which will be under 55 million.
Any other questions?
Separate question.
Kevin?
Please.
And this is to Mark's concern.
My concern or Mark's?
Excuse me, your concern. The committee probably wouldn't have voted on the transitional if Ted Galante didn't advise us that we still have the opportunity to go back to a less expensive design. We don't know what the numbers are yet. Not even.
Well, and I appreciate you explaining that.
And so we're very, the cost is paramount to us. And knowing that we have the opportunity to perhaps reduce the cost even more, we went with the transitional because aesthetically it's better.
Okay, and I appreciate that, but that was not explained to us. That's not what's in our, to what we're voting on. That's not the motion. So now that you've explained that we are going to go back once we have the costs of the transitional and to be able to make a vote on design, whether we go with that or it's substantially different or lower with the flat roof, that's great. I'm for that. I just didn't want to make a decision here that was all the way through, that is multi-million dollars more without knowing any difference. So thank you for explaining that.
So we have a recommendation from the building committee for transition design. Did I hear a motion?
Yes, I
for a
made the
second?
motion.
I thought I did hear
I made the motion, Mr. Chair. Let me turn on the light.
I just would also add to,
But it's not design, it's the massing.
It's
and we
just
shouldn't-
the,
Should be clear.
Design direction is what I've been referring to it as. It's going in a direction.
so we can get prices.
Maybe you could,
For pricing.
yeah,
Pricing.
it's a direction. conceptual
Okay.
direction.
I don't mean to be difficult here, but it's not, that's not what I.
You're not voting on the final design as
Right.
mentioned. It's,
We will do
it's a
that
direction we're going in
For costing.
We
for
voted every
costing.
step.
There's plenty of opportunity for public input. Public meetings will be had about further
get a design.
honing in on the final design.
And I would appreciate that.
Months of
We do
that, yeah.
get some public
Yes.
input on this.
Mhm.
I know in any of
Absolutely.
the other projects we've worked on, as a town,
Yep.
there has always been a part of public input
Once you have a
on
design.
design.
Yeah, once you have a design.
All right, I'm going to call for a vote. All set? All those in favor of this design
Direction?
recommendation? In favor?
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 5? It's 5-0. All right, next one is, as we heard earlier, when Rick gave us the update on both this recommendation from the building committee, but also he weaved in the revised cost figure that the team is comfortable with. Mark provided a memo, and as we also heard from others at the start of the meeting, any effort we can make to revise what's being asked for on a not-to-exceed number would be helpful. So the team is here. Any questions of Ted or Rick or anyone in terms of going from a 60 million to a 55 million article? So this would be actually one of us, whoever is making the motion, when they're reading it, if we vote this, would say, what's printed in the warrant says 60, select board, and we'll see what finance committee recommends will be this number. So are we comfortable making a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we support an amended bond authorization amount for the annual town meeting, Article 17, replacing the 60 million figure presented in the warrant with an amount of 55 million.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Please.
So at town meeting, people are going to be holding a warrant that says 60 million.
Yes.
The motion is going to be for 55.
And whoever makes that should say, as printed in your warrant, it says 60. Motion I'm making is for 55.
And, Mr. Chair, we've had, sorry.
Go ahead, Mark.
I just want to add that we figured if you made this change, we would plan to create a handout so that everyone, as they were coming in, receives this information with bullet points as to why this this change was made.
And you'll start letting people know this. If we
Oh,
vote this in a few
absolutely.
minutes, this will go out in an alert to know.
And we're going to be having our engagement meetings the next 2 days, so we will be using this number.
Much like the other article from yesterday's news,
Right.
we will be releasing something right after the meeting on Exit 89 as well,
Yeah.
related to this change, positive
In the
news.
past, other town meetings where I remember Attorney Ford standing up and helping. I believe our town moderator, as they introduce the article, can also remind the public that what we actually speak and vote on takes precedent over anything printed in a warrant.
Good point.
So the moderator could help with this.
Yep. Scott, you want to come up? You do need to come to the mic, as you know.
Scott Zenke, Doan Road. Mike, in your warrant article, not to exceed 55 mil.
I amend my,
Well, it can't be over 55. If the motion says up to, you can't go over the 55.
I'm just telling you, we need to have insurance to the public that we're not coming back in a year and a half,
We don't have that.
especially with things that we got on the list, money moving forward. We've got to stick to our numbers.
I
Thank you,
would
Scott.
go with what Mark said.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? Again, I just really want to say thank you. Looking at Rick, Ted, you've got a lot of work ahead, but as you can tell, we really want to be partners. And David, your committee, as you come up with things where we can be helpful, keep doing the good work you're doing.
Peter's come up with most of the good ideas.
I knew that would happen.
He shows up a lot. That's half of it. Thanks, Peter. All right, so I'll call for a vote on the reduction to the 55 million. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thanks so much, you guys. A lot of hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, thanks, Ted.
Good night now.
Andrea, congratulations.
She's going to miss us.
Yeah, I will.
All right, we have item 13, a consent agenda with a number of items.
I'll make a motion just to get us rolling, if you want, Mr.
Please.
Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I'm just going to do a quick summary,
can we
only because
that out?
this is kind of the first time we see 8 or 9 items. So the first is accept resignation of Hona Lee Milne and Craig Oliveira from the Orleans Cultural District. Vote, yeah, with thanks. Vote to award recipients of the 2026-27 Sarah Brown Scholarships that will be announced at the Nassau Regional High School Senior Scholarship Awards Night on June 4th. Vote to approve the one-day common victual license for Paul Davies at the schoolhouse. Vote one-day liquor license for Orleans Chamber. Vote another outdoor entertainment license for the Chamber. Vote a one-day transient vendor license for the Chamber. Another one-day liquor license for the Chamber. A one-day liquor license for the Chamber. A one-day outdoor entertainment license for Town Cove Tap House. And vote vote to appoint Carol Cornine as election workers for FY26. That's the batch of the consent.
And, Mr. Chair, can I point out, Judy does have a problem, that there is so much activity now that these requests for licenses for other businesses and all the events that have been building really create the excitement that it's fun to be in Orleans.
We are really having a good time, and I was so pleased yesterday. I heard from one of our bigger retailers yesterday that he had just gathered his marketing department and the other owners and went over all of their benefits for all the chambers from Dennis to Provincetown, and he wanted to know if he could hire me to go and teach them all something.
Oh, wow.
So I really appreciate the board's help. It's been amazing. We're having a good time.
That's good.
But yes, thanks to Laura helping me dot my I's and cross my T's. She got me here tonight because, man, we were going to be breaking a lot of rules on Saturday if I didn't get here.
Judy, you're awesome. All right, with that, I'll call for a vote in favor on the consent. All in
Please.
favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye, 500. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you. And can I just say congratulations to Mark Rail? Mark Rail has been awarded a 40 under 40 by the Cape and Islands Plymouth Digest.
Awesome.
Wow,
And we're
Mark.
very happy to have him in the town of Orleans.
Oh,
Thank you.
Hey.
I'm happy to be here.
and hang on to that 40, under 40, as long as you can. All right, next up, speaking of Mark Reel, Mark is going to
yes.
help me with this. If you can share with us, as we said in our goals, we would do a quarterly review. And I did circulate with some of our key contributors, just to do a quick rundown on where we stand with our goals, as we're coming into a wrap-up mode, and we'll be handing off to the next batch of goals. So Mark's going to bring this up on screen real time. And I'll just say, we do have a little bit more to fill in from other staff and ourselves. So this is, again, frankly, to check the box that we updated and reviewed our goals, just being perfectly honest.
All right. Let's see.
So we added,
Not sure this box is in the way, but, oh, here we go.
there we go. So we added a column, status as of today. And Mark, you've got control, so why don't you just zip down them quickly?
Sure.
Thank you.
So this one here is review current multi-member body charges and provide professional guidance to multi-member bodies to ensure compliance with legal requirements, open meeting law, improved communication, and enhance the volunteer experience. Last status was special counsel, open meeting law, and conflict of interest training will be scheduled. There's nothing here, but I can tell you that we've talked with council about doing something after the reappointments process so that you're getting the most up-to-date groups ready to have your open meeting law and your conflict of interest training.
So we can add that in at some point.
Yes. Next, you have promote and move ahead on voted plans through cross-committee collaboration on select board and town manager goals where multiple boards have shared responsibilities. I have most up-to-date status Affordable Housing Trust Workshop on 5/7 to prep for Housing Roundtable. Enhanced performance process for direct reports to the Select Board. This was done. Complete review, revision of all Select Board policies. As you know, that's in process. Strengthen enforcement, advocacy, and compliance with short-term rental registration, noise bylaw, drought restriction signs, outdoor lighting, fertilizer and pesticide bylaws, zoning reforms, and comprehensive plan. The status we have here is ARC notifies building commissioner of outdoor lighting violations for follow-up. Zoning modernization phase 2 underway for possible fall 2027 special town meeting. Expand our 21st century communication platform for increased customer service across residential, commercial, and visitor needs, including standardized processes to list, register, discover, purchase, evaluate, and report across silos of activities. There's so much going on there. It's really Amanda in some ways, but prioritize hiring director of municipal finance, done. Manage town assets through timely investments while continuing to maintain AAA bond rating. That's been reconfirmed. Explore the options of residential tax exemption. We've done a lot on that. No status change. Initiate a long-term capital planning framework that represents investments opportunities beyond the 5-year CIP with clearly defined responsibilities and accountability measures. This is ongoing, related to the facilities assessment, conditions assessment process is ongoing. Invest in infrastructure of the town that supports the blue economy, including public access and recreation at Rock Harbor, 72 Townsend Road development, residential parking, kayaks, water access. This mentions Goose Hummock is complete. Rock Harbor is slated to be substantially complete by May 15th. Continue comprehensive review of enterprise fund performance to balance service delivery, fee equity, and taxpayer impact. I think part of tonight was setting the new rates, and that's related. Beaches recognized as biggest supporter of economic development, analyze license plate recognition and sticker data, improve mobile services, and long-term retreat plan facilities services. Ongoing, I think that you could relate that to the Skaka Beach presentation you had more recently. Actually, it was the last meeting, so continues to be discussed. Transfer station, advanced food composting and leaf composting in coordination with Board of Health and increased annual grant program. 2, document percentage of annual solid waste reduction and analyze user data to continue and improve the efforts of waste reduction and efficiency. We've added the food composting bins that are in place.
And the survey is out.
And there's a survey separately from the transfer station that folks should take if you're interested in curbside food waste composting pickup. Next is explore additional ways to offset the taxpayer burden, including allocation of cannabis revenues. That's just calculated in as our annual revenues at this point. Sewers, support the work of the Wastewater Management Advisory Committee recommendations, including implementation of the CWRMP phases. Properties are connecting to Phase 2 system. Favorable bids were received for Phase 3 construction. Requests for Phase 4 pre-design funds are coming up at the May 11th annual town meeting.
Mark, can I just add?
Sure.
Including Town Hall being connected the other day.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Continue to work with the town of Eastham leaders to explore creation of a watershed permit for Nauset Estuary and Rock Harbor consistent with new Mass DEP regulations. Status is towns coordinating on a common water use database to be used in updating land-based nitrogen loads. Fire rescue, there's an extensive update here, but I think
We know it.
we're all aware. Interesting that it's live updating to borrow up to 55 million. I don't know, it's just amazing. Advance enhanced broadband access for residents and businesses.
Stress.
Well, there's not
No
much of an
attention,
app.
did it?
Yeah.
No. Well,
But it's still in the plan, economic development plan.
Complete wayfinding signage program.
We're getting there.
This is happening.
Yeah, we've got this in the front burner.
Should put an update in, because there legitimately is an update.
Oh, why?
We're about to do this.
Did you put it in? No, okay.
Just say it, Mark will type it.
Or just say it, yeah, what
The
is?
survey's at live. isn't it? Yeah.
Is that-
Survey.
Working with the consultants to finalize the implementation plan.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you, Amanda.
Okay,
Nice.
it's hot in here. Eldred Parkway roadway widening from Lots Hollow intersection to Route 6A. Still waiting for Mass DOT to alert municipalities of a grant award. Last update was to inform applicants by late April or early May. Schools. New Nauset Regional School District Agreement.
Still in process.
Very much in process.
Completion of the Bruce Orleans East Ham Wellfleet
You
Elementary
can put,
School.
public Orleans date, June 2nd, release.
All right. As part of the townwide building assessment, prioritize facility needs of Orleans Elementary School.
It's in.
Continues to be.
Yes.
And then consider article for future town meeting to provide separate town operating budget and school budgets.
Need to do this next year. In the fall.
I think we've been saying this
I
since I
know,
got
but
here.
it's going to be critical. Everyone has seen all the stories from all around the state. People don't understand how the budgets work together, and we're in one big budget. And
Visibility.
choices will get harder, and we just want to, be able to, let people voice their concerns.
Transparency.
Yes.
Monitor, this is housing initiatives. Monitor occupancy at Fair, former Cape Cod 5 Penrose project, and the 107 Main Street developments. Both 107 Main and Fair 19 West have completed initial lease up. Reports on lottery and lease up are available, I believe, on the website, right? Yeah. Advanced Governor Prent's projects, public hearing on comprehensive permit application scheduled for Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on May 20th. Notice and invitation to comment sent to local boards and committees. Currently navigating temporary access agreement to allow demolition prior to closing through legal review. Managing 2 grants to ensure continuation of available funds for the initial site work. Advanced 44 Main Street project, prioritize modular net zero approach, working internally to draft RFP for public-private development. Evaluate implementation of Lease to Locals program, 7 units of year-round housing added through this program, 11 people have been housed. Chatham is voting on participation at the May 11th annual town meeting. Explore town-owned properties for housing potential, including former Hubler Motel, Gavigan Cottages, Bay Ridge Lane, track achievement of goal of 350 new housing units. Ongoing. Chief Climate Leader designation, that's no change from last time. We are continuing to behave as a climate leader community despite not having status. Advance the town meeting, voted solar projects, no change since last time. Their applications are submitted to Eversource.
Mark, on that, do
Yes.
they have some regulatory timeframes when something's administrative complete to turn around? I thought they did have.
I can check. I
Yeah.
can check on that.
I thought they had like 120 days at the most, or something like that.
Yeah, and then they probably have a 5-year extension.
Stop.
Review position of tree warden to determine if it meets needs, current expectations for native plantings, lawn maintenance, water use, fertilizer, pesticides, pruning, and plantings. In process. Continue plastics reduction measures through achievable actions such as reducing single-use plastic straws, utensils, in coordination with Board of Health. This is related to the Community Cares Initiative.
What about the environmental policy? Could you take credit for the
Yeah.
environmental policy there?
Yeah,
There is some reference to those things.
yeah. Thank you. Lynn's mentioning as an update, because we do have, what's it called, an omnibus
Yeah.
policy? That's,
Update, that should be in there.
thanks, Lynn.
Advance the Eldridge Park
Where I get paid, Kevin.
project. Let's see, Weston and Sampson has been awarded the contract for design, permitting, and construction of the Eldridge Park renovation project. Ongoing conversations and working group meetings have been happening to finalize design and have 75% of contract documents submitted by the end of May, early June. Note the dates are tentative, and at the point of design completion, we will be going out to bid for construction of the project. The hope is to break ground by the end of August.
There was also a public information session, wasn't
Yep.
Yes. I don't remember the date, but it was recently.
Recent, yeah.
Advance the multimodal Depot Square redesign. There's no change here because the architect who we were working with is out. I don't, he's still out. I'm not sure of why. But we are in touch with GPI, and it is a priority on my whiteboard next to my desk. Every day I look at it. Continue ways to look for opportunities to ease the cost burdens on taxpayers, including support early childhood education, after-school programming, recreation access, intern programs to enhance livability. I added today just that the early childhood education and care program, as you know, expanded to include 0 to 2-year-olds and now includes all children 0 to 4 with the $7,000 per year incentive or grant. We have utilized the OpenGov system to accept applications through that portal as opposed to paper, and it was very successful. We've got, I think within the first day, there were like 23 applications.
I can give you the
Yeah, do you have them? Did she respond to that?
Yeah, so as of May 1st, we've had 33 applicants.
Wow.
And there's 42 grants available with a max of 7,000.
Nice.
So, you know, we do need to talk about, like, what our future plans are around this thing.
I know that, you know, we had done some calculations and estimates on how many we anticipated, and so that is within the range that we anticipated. And the hope is that those parents were planning on applying, and we'll have enough funding, hopefully.
Can I just say, and I think Lynn sent an email out, and just the question is whether we want to have a program that does have a hard cap, so that there would be people who apply who can't get it because the money's all gone, or do we have, or are we basically saying that this is available to everybody?
I think what we need to do is shift our application period to be able to plan financially for the budget. Right. So, you know, that hasn't been the cycle, and so we've had to kind of back into a number, whereas if we maybe planned for our application deadline for FY '28 to be in by March 1st of next year, we would have a better ability to.
I did learn today, though I don't want to be misquoted, what I believe that I heard is that the elementary school is going to be allowing choice for kindergarten.
But only 6 places.
But only 6 places, so it's a start. But that is exactly the type of thing that we were talking about before, we were considering this for employees or not, which is, you know, if we're gonna think about expansion of this program, it only makes sense if people can bring their kids to school and all of that. And so, I'm happy to hear that, and I'm happy to see this.
May I ask?
No, please.
The 138,000 we just transferred to the OES tonight, that wasn't used in this program, right?
No,
Last year.
no, that's simply
That's special
for
ed.
special
Special
education,
education.
unanticipated
Stabilization?
special education
Okay,
costs.
so that's completely different
Yes,
than
yes.
this.
Right.
That's the revolving fund that we
Right.
created. for them to deal with that stuff.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, and then identify opportunities to invest in space for future municipal needs. There's some policy around that. Is that?
So we are meeting after town meeting to work on this, but we actually are already, I mean, Amanda and I can tell you that we are already in active conversations with a number of people about possibilities, but we are working on a more specific investment type of policy in regards to land and opportunities and being able to participate. So that's on my goals list. So you're gonna be seeing something probably at the end of the month, June. So Karen's already sent drafts over.
Upon completion of the facilities assessment, work with our community partners to plan investment in future community needs. We'll be doing that when the assessment is done.
Wait.
And then goal review, status check, done.
Done. Thanks so much, Mark, and everybody that contributed, because this got sent out as a shared thing, so what you see is George, Elizabeth,
Yeah.
Rich, Mark, everybody contributed, so you have an awesome staff, Kim.
Isn't it crazy?
Really,
Doesn't it see, when you're reading that, you feel like that was a million years ago, but it was this year? That like really takes
some of it
you.
was like just last month.
I know, but it feels so long ago.
It's great. So I encourage you guys to consider doing a similar goals methodology next year. But it'll be up to the body to
Maybe
decide.
less.
All right, number 15, Select Board Liaison Updates. Would we like to provide any updates? I see a nod. Andrea?
can go.
No, Andrea, please go.
Well, mine is, some of my committees are not able to meet because they don't have quorum right now. And that's kind of, as Mary Wright has been saying, apathy is one of our challenges. And so the board addressing chair training, committee member kind of behavior, and how committees work with staff is hugely important. So I guess mine is going to be kind of an omnibus, because I have 8 active committees. 2 of them are meeting tomorrow. One that was supposed to meet Tuesday couldn't meet because they didn't, they canceled, and another one didn't have quorum. I think in general, after watching this process for 6 years, I want to say that we are nearing the end of a transition where, if you remember a while ago, we had committees doing the actual work that now is accomplished by staff. And we also had this frustration that committees could never get time on select board meetings to report to us directly about their priorities and what they were working on. And there was a phase where, when I was chair, which was light years ago, where we asked committees to post their objectives, not just their charge, but what is that group of people working on for this year on their homepages. So we'd have a sense reading their homepage, and then, as Kim has rightly led and Amanda is championing, what's the interface difference, and the Housing Trust was one of the first committees to take this on, between what the public sees and user-friendly from the public's perception versus the ins and outs, how's the sausage getting made? And so sometimes we keep posting how the sausage is made, not what the public's supposed to do with it. And so overall, I have to shout out, Amanda, Tom, Elizabeth, and Mark have all worked with me as liaison to get the committees that I've been working with, not all of them successfully, to understand how important they are, how much we need their input at a 30,000-foot view, and how they're there to steady and inform the professional assigned to them, versus some of our older relationships where committees did work. And Tom and Mark and everybody has been instrumental with that transition. So tomorrow we're having an Affordable Housing Trust workshop that's absolutely necessary, because we don't require training for how does affordable housing get built. And so I would beg of you, my colleagues, as you go into next year and start thinking about this, what is the critical training that each of our boards and committees should have to do their jobs? planning board a long time ago used to aim for 4 courses a year from every member in the citizens training collaborative. And George and I took classes alongside each other. ARC, I remember having a very vivid discussion with one of the members who has since resigned, saying, what preparation have you done in looking at photographs, studying the history of design in this town, looking at historical structures that gives you the basis to comment, so you're not the taste police. And I think that call for discipline and standards rests with us, and I hope next year you guys begin to tackle that. So that's my generic report.
Thank you. Any other liaison items? That's it.
That's it, because everybody's working hard, they're in process, and they're doing great. Like you saw, Energy and Climate Action was here as part of everybody is working hard.
Well said. Michael?
I had Snow Library yesterday, and I think I brought up to us earlier, they're wrestling with an AA policy, and they're going to work with town manager's office in deciding what direction they might want to take in the future. They came and presented their adult programming, which is amazing. They have about 500 programs, which was a little shocking to me, and that's not even the adult education, you know, and from talking with Tavi and the group, I mean, it is really regarded throughout the state as an amazing program. I think you know that, Kevin, as being their liaison for a long time. But just wanted to call that out, and they have a new woman, and I apologize, I switched and had to start a new notebook today, so I don't have my actual notes, so I'm trying to recall in my head, so I apologize.
That's fine.
Also talked about the Friends of Group, which is another at Snow Library. I mean, they have $2.5 million in investments of the Friends Group. They do an absolutely amazing job. A woman named Linda was there to present from the Friends Group, so something, and that's not even the trust funds that they hold. So just great organization there, Jamie Bally at the chair, and that's all I got for them. That's the only one I had.
Great, thanks. Mev?
I just have one thing from the CONSCOM. At their meeting, they discussed, there's a gazebo at Eldridge Park that's going to be in the way of the project that's going on. So the recreation people asked CONSCOM if there was any interest at CONSCOM to having this gazebo on, town open space property someplace, which there is not. So figuring out what to do with that gazebo is
Doesn't the gazebo belong to the OIA? Wasn't it donated by the OIA?
well, but who owns it? I mean,
Well, we do now, but I think when they did the rec plan, they made sure to identify the pieces that were donated. So I just want to make sure that we loop them in.
We do.
Perfect. Done.
But in any case, somebody's going to have to figure out either move it or, lose it.
No,
Understood.
don't want to lose it. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it
Okay.
for me.
Mark? Okay, so I just have a couple, and they're actually not local bodies, but regional body, the Cape and Islands Water Protection Fund. I don't know if you saw the press release last week, voted a couple things. One is the next round of subsidy for a slew of wastewater projects, Chatham, Barnstable, 53.1 million of subsidy. This brings our total subsidy awards to 350 million wide, supporting $1.4 billion of wastewater projects.
Incredible.
You just do the math, 25%, 1.4 million. It's working. The other thing we did is we are set up to welcome and start to receive revenue to be able to subsidize the Oak Bluffs community. They will likely be voting this month to add the 2.75% surtax, which only makes the fund more net positive. The other thing is, I think I serve on the Metropolitan Planning Organization. You may have seen on Facebook, which I really wish it didn't exist sometimes, a lot of negativity. And I'm disappointed because I was one of the advocates for the use of the TIP funds, Transportation Improvement Program funds, that comes from the feds and the state, This is not local money, folks.
Right.
But Eastham has never received a single dollar of TIP funds over all the years that it's been running. And just from an equity standpoint, I said, there is an important project for safety, for climate change, for all these things. And the first public meeting was held last week, and a lot of people said, we like it just the way it is. So there's one scheduled for Orleans coming, both towns. So I do hope people come out, so I hope I can make that. And I'm going to say, if you don't want it, Dennis,
Yeah,
Mashpee,
we'll use
there's
it.
plenty of projects that can take this money.
Yeah.
So, but it does need to be done. I mean, it's just, trying to convince people sometimes of a benefit that is like sitting there is so difficult. It will benefit Orleans, so, all right, so that's my soapbox.
You have one more.
What do I have?
You want me to help you?
Please, you got to.
Kevin and I and Mike Salitro had a meeting this week with Judy Schumacher and Superintendent Glenn Brand to do the follow-up conversation about the fire station presentation, and that went very well. They were very receptive and grateful for the follow-up, and happy to see that we are moving over and we won't need a wall. There are two other issues that we probably are going to have to visit moving forward. One for 2027 is about the future of the skate park, and sort of the lease, believe it or not, is 20 years old as of next year, so that's on our shared radar. And the other one is that the current plan design for Eldridge Park does go on to the region's land a bit for the sidewalk and part of the tennis court. So we're either going to have to work with them on easements for that, or we're going to have to push for the direction to slide it over and move the tennis courts a bit. So, but we raised both of those, and when I saw Glenn again today, I confirmed with him and Judy. I just, while we're talking about education, I just really want to give a shout out. I know you weren't there today, Kevin, but you've put in, we have a really excellent working group for the regionalization and efficiency study that is made up of all of the town managers in the district, as well as select board people and school committee members for both elementary and from the district. And it's been an incredibly positive, open, transparent, communicative process. The document that's coming out, even though there might be a lot of apprehension about it, it does not make any recommendations. It does not implement any changes. I don't want parents to be afraid that their kids will be going somewhere different next year. It's a long-range planning document. It was designed to gather data from a really considerate and caring group of people who are deeply invested in their communities. So, it takes a long time to build a school, and no matter what happens next, right? Everyone is afraid about competing future capital needs. You're talking about 10 years out. And so I just want to make sure that as this bubbles up right after town meeting, that they know that a lot of people have spent a lot of time, but nothing changes, right? It's just the data we needed to start making good decisions with.
And again, this is you'll find in reading this study, an incredible set of information and data that in fact this group challenged right from the get-go. One of the first tasks was demographics.
Got some new demographics I'm
We
going to
didn't
send you
like it.
guys.
We didn't believe it. We didn't think it was right. They actually hired a whole different demographer.
Yeah.
Actually, at our request, called every single town to get an understanding of what's in the housing pipeline, how many kids, and it actually supports what we're now seeing. When you see 6 kids at the far getting on a school bus, I kind of see it.
Right.
So there's a real reality check that was done on this report. So I think it's going to be valuable for.
Right. The next part of it, of course, is then identifying community support, financial support going forward in the future. But that is after this information has been gathered. At least now, we are all on the same page in terms of knowing what the facts are related to the district. So
It does show working together.
it's been great,
Is really,
honestly.
it can be done.
They have been incredibly complimentary of our town hall in particular, I must say. They want to continue meeting and
Better be.
here. So,
That's great.
I had someone say they wanted to move their school committee meetings here. And I said, well, you can all come back and join back in.
Exactly.
Take you back.
It's one of the efficiency recommendations, so.
All right.
Thanks, Kim. Really, a lot of good work's been
Positive
done.
work.
So future agenda items, Andrea, I did note your, committee training. I think just, that is important.
That'd
The
be a game changer.
onboarding, the whole, yeah.
Be a game changer.
Any other future agenda topics? Lynn, a future select board agenda topic?
Just a question. Speaking of colleagues from other towns, would there be anything that we, the town, would send a note of congratulations on retirement to Jackie Beebe?
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah, yeah.
suggestion.
She's been a terrific colleague on several levels, and it's just a thought. Nick and I had, with Elaine, had worked with her when we created, and you might remember, Andrea, the draft of the universal pre-K, and she's walking pretty quick. So it's just a,
Well, no, we absolutely should. I adore her and I respect her and I love working with her. And just as a testament to the type of person that Jackie is, she's staying on to work on this regionalization committee even after she is retired in her position. So, we care.
Of course you do.
We might not always live in the communities, but
Lynn,
we care.
Thanks for that suggestion, appreciate it. Any other future agenda topics? Only one I'll leave you with, and again, thank you, Kim, for putting some suggested motion assignments. If anybody wants to change them, that's totally fine, but just, would you make your swaps or changes
So we can update the
so
slides.
we can update the slides? On that note,
Mr. Chair, I move that at 7:11 we adjourn.
Second?
moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you,
Yeah, well
everybody.